For many people in our state, the flag stands for traditions that are noble. Traditions of history, of heritage, and of ancestry. The hate-filled murderer who massacred our brothers and sisters in Charleston has a sick and twisted view of the flag. In no way does he reflect the people in our state who respect and in many ways revere it. Today, we are here in a moment of unity in our state, without ill will, to say it's time to move the flag from the Capitol grounds.
All right, folks, Noah Rothman, assistant online editor at Commentary Magazine, commentarymagazine.com, joins us. Hey, Noah, you wrote a great piece, Charleston and Our Tragic Impotence. And, you know, first of all, this is not a tragedy. You point that out. It was an act of barbarity, and you're absolutely right. You also talk about how the conversation has really strayed here.
Yeah, I think it's probably a very human impulse to attempt to exercise agency wherever you can in a moment of absolute powerlessness in the face of something that you really probably cannot prevent without a significant measure of clairvoyance, that which we have not yet attained. And so as a result, we lash out at things that we can comprehend, things we can control, and we have conversations that are virtually unrelated to the matter at hand. What we began to talk about very early on after this tragedy was rehearsing a gun control conversation that we've had, and that ended rather definitively in 2013. But it quickly transitioned into a conversation about the Confederate flag. Now, there's a lot of good being done insofar as we're removing this symbol, which I think has outlived a lot of its usefulness, from places that are public and taxpayer funded. And it's happening with remarkable alacrity. But there's also a bizarre moral panic around the nature of this Confederate flag being removed from shelves and being forced out of eBay, and even compelling through moral pressure to force firms that create or manufacture this flag from ceasing to do so. This would not have impacted this event. It would not have stopped this shooter. If anything, based on his own pronouncements, which we're taking at face value, it would have made him more bitter and more likely to act out in frustration at the United States that rejects the Southern heritage that he seemed to find nice, appreciative. He was an anachronism. So it's really kind of a bizarre departure from the issue at hand. Even if it's, valuable to remove this Confederate flag, it has nothing to do with the shooting.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And now, of course, the talk has really gotten bizarre, taking down the Jefferson Memorial because he owned slaves. Rush Limbaugh and Alan Keyes on my show, Rush Limbaugh yesterday said that what's next, the American flag. And as Alan said, it flew on ships that brought slaves to America. So how could blacks not feel offended, and how could we not be outraged about that? So, where will we draw this imaginary line?
Good point. There really is no limiting principle, and CNN's Ashley Banfield expressed that.
To Don Lemon. Yep.
That, the Jefferson Monument is next to go. So you really don't know where this should stop. But common sense would dictate that it would stop well before then.
You also wrote a piece about Hillary, and it's interesting. This wasn't what the piece was focused on, but this goes along with it to an extent. If Carly Fiorina's husband had flew the Confederate flag over the State House in a state that he was governor of, and signed Confederate Flag Day into law, and had defended Robert Byrd's joining of the KKK, and had said my hero, my mentor was William Fulbright, Carly Fiorina would never hear the end of it. I haven't heard one person ask Hillary, because I guess they can't ask Hillary anything, but I haven't heard this brought up by more than one or two people, Jake Tapper being one of them to his credit, and I think Chris Cuomo also asked Paul Begala about, will Hillary have to face these questions?
Yeah, Paul Begala said absolutely, which is striking because he was a Clinton advisor. But this wouldn't really come up. I mean, Hillary Clinton is rather peripheral, and she's been delivering some rather peripheral speeches, saying some anodyne pablum to friendly audiences on the nature of race. It really wouldn't matter unless you had institutions like the New York Times and the Washington Post bizarrely creating this hagiographical fiction around Hillary Clinton as racial hero, when in fact she's really just been following in the lead of Republican lawmakers who are demonstrating real courage by staring down their own constituents and inviting real significant consequences for their actions by demanding that this symbol, which many of their constituents still appreciate, needs to be removed from the public grounds. So they're really going out of their way in order to cast Hillary Clinton as this racial hero and in a narrative which really could be do completely the opposite.
Absolutely.
It could be Republicans, the party of emancipation and desegregation, removing Confederate flags from the South. But that's a really scary narrative to a lot of people.
Absolutely. And you know what? The Republicans are AWOL. They should be educating the public, as I said in my opening monologue, about who voted for the civil rights legislation, who put that flag up there in South Carolina, who moved it, and now who took it down, and give a history lesson of sorts. But you know what? They don't have it in them, and that's always been the problem with the Republican Party, in my view. Noah, great to talk to you, sir.
You too. Thank you.
All right, Noah Rothman, folks. When we come back, you know what it is. You know it, you love it, you got to have it, and I think this one is about Hillary. Oh, yes, it is. Gimme 5 is next right here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Don't you go away.